The military space shuttle drifted silently through the void. Inside, 12 soldiers checked their weapons one last time. They were Earth's solar defense force, the best fighters humanity had. For 3 months, unknown creatures had been attacking our satellites. Fast, aggressive, made of some kind of living metal. Nobody knew where they came from. But Intel finally tracked them to a location near Mercury, a nest. The soldiers were going to destroy it. The rear hatch opened. One by one, the soldiers floated out into space, their suits equipped with small thrusters for movement. The squad leader, a female soldier with over 50 combat missions, surveyed the area through her helmet display. There, about 2 kilometers ahead, a massive cluster of the creatures attached to an old research satellite. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, pulsing with a strange blue light. She signaled her team. They spread out in formation, weapons armed. These weren't regular guns. They fired concentrated plasma rounds, the only thing that could damage these creatures. The soldiers moved slowly, carefully, trying not to alert the nest. But the creatures sensed them anyway. The blue light intensified. The mass of alien metal began to shift and separate. Then they attacked. The creatures detached from the satellite and swarmed toward the soldiers like angry hornets. Fast, too fast. The soldiers opened fire. Plasma bolts lit up the darkness of space. The creatures dodged, weaved, some got hit and exploded into fragments. But more kept coming. Dozens of them crashed into the soldiers, trying to tear through their suits. The battle was chaos. Soldiers tumbling through space, firing in all directions, creatures everywhere. The female soldier emptied her weapon into 3 creatures at once, watched them disintegrate, then felt something slam into her back. She spun around, grabbed the creature with her hands, and crushed it. Its blue blood, if you could call it that, sprayed across her visor. Her second-in-command shouted through the radio.
"Commander, the nest is splitting open. Something big is coming out."
Hold fire!
The nest was splitting open. Something big was coming out. The soldiers looked. From the center of the creature mass, a much larger entity emerged. Twice the size of their shuttle, covered in the same living metal, but with what looked like eyes. Multiple glowing blue eyes scanning the battlefield. This was the Queen, the source. The squad leader made a decision. They needed more firepower. She ordered her weapons specialist to arm the heavy plasma cannon, a massive weapon mounted on their shuttle. It required a direct line of sight and 15 seconds to charge. In a battle like this, 15 seconds was an eternity. But it was their only shot at destroying the Queen. The specialist locked onto the target and began charging. The soldiers formed a defensive line between the shuttle and the swarm, firing constantly to keep the creatures back. 10 seconds. The creatures seemed to sense the danger. They changed tactics, focusing all their attacks on the shuttle. 9 seconds. 8 seconds. The soldiers' ammunition was running low. Then the female soldier saw it. A cluster of creatures breaking through their line, heading straight for the charging cannon. She fired her thrusters, intercepting them. Grabbed one, threw it into another. But there were too many. One got past her. She reached out, desperate, and fired her last plasma round. It flew wild, missing the creature entirely. The bolt continued traveling, past the battle, past Mercury, straight toward the sun. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. The creature reached the shuttle and slammed into the cannon. The weapon's aim shifted slightly, now pointing at the sun instead of the Queen. 5 seconds. The specialist tried to readjust, but the creature was tearing at the controls. 4 seconds. The female soldier pushed her thrusters to maximum, racing to reach the shuttle. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. She reached the creature and ripped it off the cannon. But it was too late. 1 second. The cannon fired. A massive bolt of concentrated plasma, more energy than a nuclear bomb, shot out from the shuttle. But it wasn't aimed at the Queen anymore. The bolt traveled across millions of kilometers in seconds and struck the sun directly. For a moment, nothing happened. The soldiers floated there, breathing hard, watching the sun. The queen and her swarm seemed to pause too, as if sensing something. Then the sun pulsed, a single rhythmic pulse like a heartbeat. Then another, and another. The female soldier's blood went cold. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The sun pulsed faster. Its surface began to ripple. The swarm of alien creatures suddenly scattered, fleeing in all directions. Even the queen retreated, moving away from the sun as fast as it could. The creatures knew. They sensed what was coming. On the sun's surface, 2 massive dark spots appeared, each one the size of Earth. Perfectly circular, perfectly positioned. The spots opened, revealing depth, revealing darkness within the brightness. Eyes. The sun had opened its eyes, and those eyes were looking directly at the soldiers. The squad leader's voice came through the radio, shaking. "Command, we have a situation. The sun is awake." Command responded immediately, confusion in their voices. What did that mean? Awake? The female soldier couldn't explain it. She just knew. Every instinct screamed danger. Then the sun's surface split open below the eyes. A massive crack forming, widening, revealing a dark void within the burning plasma. A mouth. The sun opened its mouth and roared. No sound in space, but every soldier felt it. A vibration that went through their suits, through their bodies, into their bones. A roar of rage and hunger. Solar flares erupted from the sun's surface, but these weren't random. They had shape, purpose, like tentacles reaching out into space. One flare shot toward Mercury and wrapped around the planet. Squeezed. Mercury cracked like an egg, molten core spilling out. The flare pulled the broken pieces back toward the sun's mouth, fed them into the darkness. The sun was eating. The soldiers watched in horror. The alien queen and her swarm were fleeing toward them now, no longer attacking. They were running from something worse. The sun's eyes focused. Another flare shot out, faster than the others. It caught the queen mid-flight, wrapped around her massive metal body. She struggled, tried to break free. The flare pulled her back, slowly, steadily. She was dragged into the sun's mouth and disappeared, consumed. The female soldier snapped out of her shock. "Everyone back to the shuttle, now!" The soldiers fired their thrusters, racing toward their ship. But the sun was faster. More flares erupted. One caught a soldier, the youngest in the squad. He screamed as the heat melted through his suit. The flare pulled him away. The female soldier reached out, tried to grab him, but he was already gone. Pulled into the sun's mouth. They reached the shuttle, piled inside.
It's coming down!
Watch the flank! Lima, cover right! On it!
Pilot fired the engines at full power, trying to escape. But the sun's gravity was changing, growing stronger, pulling them back. The engines strained. Warning alarms blared. They weren't going to make it. The female soldier looked back through the window. The sun was moving, actually moving, leaving its position, coming toward them. Command was screaming through the radio now. They were receiving readings from Earth. The sun's movement was affecting everything. Tides going crazy, temperatures spiking, earthquakes starting. The sun was breaking orbit, and if it continued, it would destroy the entire solar system. They had to stop it. But how do you stop the sun? The pilot managed to break free from the sun's pull, but barely. The shuttle limped back toward Earth, damaged, nearly out of fuel. Behind them, the sun continued to move, slowly, following them, the mouth still open, the eyes still watching. It took them 6 hours to reach Earth, 6 hours of watching the sun get closer in their rear cameras. When they finally landed, the female soldier and her team were rushed to a military command center deep underground. World leaders were already there. Scientists, military generals, everyone trying to figure out what to do. The sun was approaching Earth. At its current speed, it would reach the planet in 72 hours. And when it did, everything would burn.